Welcome back to the show, everyone. Dana and we're not sure we're here.
I didn't. I'm pretty sure I slept an hour last night. You've been burning it. You're back in your house.
I
So
just
you've
got
been
back into my
burning
house.
it
I mean,
both places. Yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because this angle, this camera angle is very narrow, which is good because
Oh,
if
okay.
you were to zoom out,
Oh,
you might see a
boxes
complete
and things and stuff and
disaster. I
Yeah.
feel like, do you remember back in the day, Dana, when you moved in like your college years and you would just
Yeah.
like grab hangers, like hug hangers
Yeah.
off the
Oh,
thing, and then you would like
yeah.
throw things in garbage bags, and you'd be
Yep.
like,
Oh, God.
what things do I have to stick things into? And then
Yep.
we'll figure it out when we get there. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we did.
That's what
I
we
had
did.
this
Yeah.
crazy deja vu of like, and I said to my daughter, I said to me, I'm like, this is exactly what it's like in your college years, where you're like, get some friends, get a bunch of cars.
Yeah. And just take your stuff.
Just
Because
take your
you were close enough to do it that way. Yeah.
you know, and
And
so
then you buy them a pizza and everything's good at
yeah,
the end of it.
that's
Yep.
right. You just order a pizza and you're cool, right? You're
Yep.
square.
Right.
And then you
Yep.
do it for them.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you know, it's like we used to call that the Phantom 5 in graduate school, which is funny because we would be like, I got lunch, you got lunch, I got lunch, you got this person gets lunch, right? And we used to call it the Phantom 5, as in $5. So that's how old I am. That $5 could get you lunch.
Yeah, back then. Yeah. We're
Now
getting
it's like
really old.
20.
Yeah. I was going to talk about aging in terms of moving. So you do that in college. And then the older you get, the more times you move, you really resent the fact that you have all this crap.
What?
And you're like, what the hell am I doing moving this thing again that I store in a box in the garage that I never look at? Why do I have all this crap? Yeah.
Oh, Ed and I said the same thing. We basically were like, so we've been out of our house for 8 months.
Oh God. Talk
About 8
about
months
routine
now.
disruption. Yeah.
Oh my God. And we're like, we come back, like this piece of clothing, these clothes in this drawer have not been used for 8 months. Do we need it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can live without it, get rid of it. Yeah.
We're like doing a lot. We actually, before we moved a bunch of stuff, we tried to get rid of a bunch of stuff as well. And, you know, we were only in the rental house for, let's see, we moved from house to house for about 4 weeks before we got in, 4 to 5 weeks. And then we got into the rental house and we've been there the whole time. And we're like, how did we accumulate so much stuff? Why?
Yeah.
Why
we have a rule in this house. If it's something that you haven't, especially clothing, if you haven't worn it in a year, you donate it. I mean, you just don't need to keep it, right? There's just no reason. But there's is it the Holderness family? He's ADHD. They do these really funny high production videos, but they had one that they were both so excited because we were getting a dumpster.
Oh yeah.
Because were having part of their house, they had a flood and having part of their house redone. And they were so excited about all the stuff that they could just throw in the dumpster. And I was so related to that. It's just like, if I had a dumpster in my driveway, I start looking around my room, right? Like, what would I've done this going to bed at night, mentally going through each room thinking, what could I get rid of?
Yeah.
What could I just get rid of?
Yeah.
And it's sort of, this is not what we're talking about today, but it's sort of interesting because it's like clutter, stuff that you can't, that you sort of control, but not control. And we were talking about things like that, the effect on your body, right? It started with us talking about flying. And when you fly, I don't know if people know this, I've seen this on social media. A lot of flight attendants will do these videos on this. It does things to your body, even though you're in a pressurized cabin, like gas expands. That's why we all get burpy and farty and all that, and bloated, and your rings don't move when you fly. And it just made us both think about it being neurodivergent and things going on in your body. I mean, the stereotype is people don't have interoception. They're unaware of what's going on in their body. And that could happen at any given point in time. But my experience has been, especially with women, is that they're hyper aware of things. Like I can tell, if I sat here right now and really paid attention, I can feel things moving through my small intestine. I can tell where they are
Mm,
and what side they're on and that kind of thing. And that sense of like your skin crawling, if you're stressed or you're tired like you are, you've been doing all this traveling, or you're eating food you're not used to.
mm,
Now it is sort of like an internal disorganization or internal stuff in a drawer that you haven't used in a long time, because now you have this thing going through your body or affecting your body in a way that isn't typical for you all the time. And then that robs attention, or it makes you feel crabby, or like you're tap dancing, riding a unicycle, juggling.
yeah,
It makes you do that feeling, so your bandwidth totally shrinks. I just noticed this morning, I didn't get crabby at anybody or anything like that, but I just noticed everything is annoying the crap out of me. And I'm like, oh, that's because I got an hour of sleep last night. Right.
yeah,
And that sense of how little it takes to do that. And lots of people that are on the spectrum have restless legs, which I do, but it comes and goes. I used to take medication for it and I got off of it. But there's something about the summer. So last night, I finally get comfortable, and then I could feel that weird tickling feeling in my legs. And it's just, you can't tune it out. Other people might be able to just fall asleep and sleep through it. But with that hyper awareness, every little feel, I was just like, oh, I can't suppress it. Right.
yeah,
So it makes me wonder, and those kinds of moving targets are changing on a daily basis for a lot of folks. And it makes me think about things like kids that are only want the same foods the same way all the time. Is that just a coping strategy to deal with how their body feels different if they eat different things, right? Um, uh, in terms of movement and exercise and all those kinds of things. For me, that I'm aware that I do, it's so much about familiarity for my body to do those things. I'm in the process of painfully slow, like molasses on the moon. I did buy a new bike, and I've got it on my
good.
trainer. It's
Yes.
there, set
Yay.
up. I've put the right pedals that I want on it. I bought the
The
computer
seat.
for it. Yeah.
The
So it's nice and it's sitting there. It's ready to go, but I'm not riding it yet. I'm still riding my old one that's in the same room with it. And the other day I was sort of getting down on myself, like, what is wrong with you, Jane? I'm like, oh, there's too many newness things. So the bike itself will feel different. And then I also got a different way to track my ride, different computer. And that it's not intuitive. It's different than like a
yeah,
smartphone. The smartphone app I use for it is pretty easy.
yeah,
There's a reason to have the little computer pick up all my sensors and things like that. And I was like, oh, I'm needing to make sure that I'm used to like the computer, and that feels literally wrote for my body. Like where I know where the buttons are, I know which screen to toggle to. When I go in the basement to ride, I literally need to know where to reach to get my cycling gloves on. It sounds silly, but I'm thinking about your situation. When
yeah,
everything's up in the air, it's like, where the hell is my toothbrush? Where's this? Where's that? We don't realize how much we do just from kinesthetic memory. Like you reach and there's your toothbrush, or
yeah,
you go to the refrigerator and stuff's where it usually is. And when it's not there, it can really be discombobulating. And I imagine what that's like for a little kid who can't articulate that or doesn't really know how to name that. And then that you just get kind of crabby or, resistant or whatever it is. So I'm like, okay, giving myself permission now to get completely used to the computer on my old bike, because I can do it on there too. And then what I'm going to do is start doing my half an hour workout on my old bike. And then I'm going to do at least 5 minutes additional on the new one. And I'm just going to slowly do that over. And for me, it's more like so my body can get used to it and I'm not it'll still feel strange and it'll still be an adjustment. I'm still kind of like avoiding it. I
yeah,
was like, why am I avoiding this? Because your body isn't separate from your brain, right? And in this culture, we talk so much about the mind-body connection. No, they're not. They're not even separate enough to say there's a connection, right? So I'm curious about how many people have bodily cues, and then put on top of that a lot of us have other moving targets. Things that like EDS or POTS, or things that you tend to see at a much higher rate with people with
yeah,
neurodivergent folks. Women that are going through menopause, perimenopause, or in menopause, that's a moving target, right?
Yep.
If you have had a client of mine recently talk a lot about a little bit of weight gain, like 3 pounds, and she was reluctant to tell me about it, I think. And I'm like, to me, 3 pounds, my brain would be hijacked. If my waistband on my pants feels too tight, I want to crawl out of my skin. It's like a sensory thing.
Yeah.
And so I was talking about that with her, and she was so relieved, like, "Oh, I'll tell my friends I put on 3 pounds." They're like, "3 pounds is nothing. What are you worried about? It's just 3 pounds." And I'm like, no, if you look at it from where you feel it and how that's hitting you, then it becomes like it's a real thing that your brain is paying attention to. And it's a sensory input that can really be hard to deal with in a major way. Right.
Yeah. And I think like you add in attentional
Mhm.
functioning,
Yeah.
right? So the other thing that's really, I think, common, or that I see is that they're attentional. So, if we look at attention, there's lots of parts of attention, right? There's
Mhm.
initiation, there's maintenance, there's shifting, there's
Mhm.
termination, right? When we look at attention. And
Mhm.
sometimes what I find is like a thought is grabbed onto and we
Mhm.
can't disengage. We can't
Yeah.
shift from that thought. And that's
Yeah.
another layer that keeps like kind of a hyper focus, if you will, on that thing. So it's
Right.
really hard to let go, right, Dana? When you're like, if my
Yeah.
pants
Yeah.
felt tight, I
Yeah.
would not be able to let go of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you're good. Like in your body, that's good. I'm just like, I need elastic.
Yeah. 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 Though there's that
But
too. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
but I think like this idea of energy is not infinite. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we have a limited amount of energy in abnormal psych in my undergrad years. I had
Mhm.
this really great he's one of the reasons why I think I went into psychology.
Oh, wow.
It's also the reason why I diagnosed every single person in my life. And we were like, don't the rule of this class is don't diagnose the people you know. And of
Yeah,
course,
right,
everyone
yeah,
was like going through
yeah,
stuff. We're like, check. I mean,
yeah.
just like but he worked on like the Dahmer case, the Ted Bundy case. Like he did a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
that kind of forensic
yeah.
um consultation. But I
Mhm,
remember he said this, his name was Vern, and he said, everyone's born with a different size bucket
mhm, mhm.
of energy.
Yeah,
Your bucket might be small, medium, it doesn't
yeah.
square, round, deep, shallow, doesn't
Mhm,
matter. But you got to learn how to manage
yeah,
that bucket.
yeah,
And if you overflow quickly, you don't have a lot in the tank, then you need more rest. And
right.
that came back to me as I have been supporting my clients in like what takes energy and what gives energy back to
Mhm,
you, and
mhm.
how long does it take? So for some people it's like my energy reserves go very quickly, but it's a
Yeah.
trickle to refill. It's like a slow
Oh,
charger
and
to refill,
depending
right?
on what has drained you, some things drain you faster than others, and yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I think like this
Mhm,
idea of how does your body experience the world?
mhm. Yeah, I like that.
That takes energy.
Yeah,
And sometimes what gets wrangled in there is thinking, right? Because I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
something and then, oh crap, I think something. And then I've gone down a rabbit hole of WebMD and now I've got
Yeah.
like five types of cancer. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what,
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
whatever like that is.
You
And
can't unhook, like
so
you said. Yeah.
yeah, and as I've been going through, because I was, did a lot of traveling in July,
Mhm.
um, lot of planes, lot of different places, no
Mm.
consistency in eating
Oh,
whatsoever.
God.
Like eating out,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
the choice.
Yep.
Eating in different countries.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
God. Yeah.
like, and I learned, boy, did I learn that we do not do spicy here like the Thais do spicy. Like
Yeah.
mild spicy in Thailand is freaking hot,
Burn your hair off
spicy
hot
here.
here. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Anyway, which was just another like work on the digestive system. So, like
Oh,
all of
God.
this and then of course the move and dealing with insurance and all of that. And
Yep.
I
Yep.
am a disaster. And so
Oh, God.
it's interesting because I even experienced like like there's a difference in the body versus emotion. So like
Yeah.
right after the fire, right
Oh,
after
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I was not available in a very different way
Oh,
than
yeah.
my availability right now because of just being exhausted. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
exhausted.
yeah,
That
right.
was, like, different. Like, that felt
Mhm,
really, really
mhm,
different.
mhm.
So, this idea, though, that I love how Dana, do you remember too, in grad school, we learned about the homunculus? For those
So
of
it
you
looks
that
like
don't
this.
know, it's, like, literally like a brain on feet.
It
I
shows you what parts of your body have more sensory stuff, and it's done
Yeah,
with this picture. So your hands are huge, your lips and your tongue are gigantic,
right.
and the head is
And
yeah, the face is bigger. Yeah,
big.
yeah.
And then it's, like, the little feet. It's, like
Little feet.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But, that
Yep,
reminds me, it's like it's like how important I think that picture depicts, like, how important
yeah,
the sensory system is,
yeah.
but we're also, like, not just, like, a brain in a jar. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
do experience that. So this idea of really understanding your energy
Mhm.
levels and how your sensory system and your body plays a role in that and what you need.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny you brought up, fast food,
Oh, yeah,
or,
yeah,
like, eating out.
yeah.
But so many of my clients love fast food,
'Cause it's
and
the same every time.
anywhere
Yeah,
you go,
it's totally
anywhere you go,
standardized.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
McDonald's in California is the same as in
Oh,
Washington, is the same as in you can
yeah.
pretty much guarantee, like, that's gonna taste about the same. Forget state to state. Let's
Wow.
just say you're traveling in your neighborhood. You can
Yeah.
always count on your Chick-fil-A's to taste the same.
So interesting because when I went to England as a 14-year-old, and it was so many things about that trip that were an utter nightmare for me. But like the third day, I just asked the person who took us, "Can we go to McDonald's?" And I don't even like McDonald's, but that must have
Yeah,
been why. Even
yeah.
then, I was like, I need something familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
something
yeah,
familiar that I can count on. I mean, it's like
yeah,
the same as,
yeah.
like, it's interesting, like Starbucks, right? And I
Hmm.
think about, like, my daughter's, like Mia's, like, pregame ritual.
Mm,
Um,
hmm, hmm.
it's interesting, it includes Starbucks, and it's like, I can always count on the coffee being bad, but I can at least count on what that's gonna taste like,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
but she has this thing, and it's like, it doesn't matter what state we're in,
yeah,
that
yeah,
sandwich and that drink is not going to make her stomach upset, and it's
yeah, yeah,
going to do what she knows it's gonna do, and it's
yeah.
so we get into these, and it's not even brand loyalty per
But
se.
athletes do that like crazy. It's
Yeah,
that routine that's just
yeah,
central to not needing to worry about your body doing something unpredictable, but it's something that you know so you can perform at that highest level because you're performing with your body. It's sort of two the same systems. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, do we then how often are my clients, and probably Dana, you've experienced this, called rigid and
Yeah, oh yeah,
inflexible
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and, um, just don't want to adapt and not want to have
yeah,
any fun and
yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah,
like,
God, we went to yeah, and it's really
yeah,
just that search for something that's familiar so you can bring your body cues down a notch. I think that's what makes traveling so challenging for me. I don't sleep, but the other thing that's probably as high up there is the food thing. So
yeah.
like a lot of times when I travel now, I at least take stuff with me, so I at least have that. We went
Yeah,
to
if you're like
Jamaica
a
25
bar or
years ago,
something.
and
Yeah.
me and my nephew, who ended up being autistic too, all we would eat was the French fries.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, French fries are basically the same thing. They're potato and oil. Even if it's not McDonald's or whatever, it's going to be fairly similar. So these gravitation towards that, and people say, "Oh, you're just not. You're the same thing. You're rigid, or you're just not explorative with food." And now I'll say, I am not explorative with food at all, and there's a reason for that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I want to know what it's. A lot of people will talk about taste and texture. That's a thing. But also, I want to know how my body's going to respond to it. And the window for that, for me, as I age, seems to get smaller anyway. I think you feel that anyway. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
add that neurodivergence on top of it, and it's like it gets even smaller. Yeah. And so you have to have people in your life that kind of understand that. My wife will always make her own dinner unless we've planned something together, but I pretty much eat the same thing every day. It's balanced. I've talked to my doctor about it, but that having someone who isn't going to judge you about it is just going to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I understand that,"
Yeah.
and then you can work on it together as a family or a couple. As long as you're not like missing vital nutrients, that you I wouldn't even say that person's rigid at that point, but maybe they just need a little bit of more education so that they can make the choices to have their diet be balanced. And then it would be like me and the bikes. You wouldn't just do it all in one day. You'd go slowly. Let's add this thing, see how you do. Is that a good source of that thing for you, or do we need to switch to something else? And that's should be an iterative process and takes time. And parents that I've seen that do that well with neurodivergent kids do it like that. And they're
Yeah.
understanding it that way. It's like, let's not move the goalpost completely. Let's go a little bit at a time,
Yeah.
and let you catch up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say go slow to go fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that is something that I say a
Hmm.
lot. And I'll say, you know, pressure and urgency typically are shutdowns. Like that
Yeah.
typically leads to a shutdown.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so slow and steady.
Hmm.
I also like as you talk about that threshold, Dana, I find the threshold for sensitivity in the body is narrowing,
Oh, yeah.
but the recovery time is
Yeah.
widening. It
Yes.
takes me
Yes.
a
Yeah.
lot longer for my body to get on track, for me to
Hmm.
and I have to and it's frustrating because it's like I have to exercise a diligence, mental diligence on,
Hmm.
so I love for me, it's like I love to eat. I love different flavors. I love
Hmm.
different things. I don't
Hmm.
want to eat the same thing all the time, which is a
Hmm.
problem because I think I'd probably do better if I did like to do that. Um, but it takes a real diligence to be like, okay, I gotta plan this out. I gotta
Yeah.
do it's just a lot of work. And then
Right.
I just kind of revert back to like
Yeah. It's
whatever's
easy to
convenient
fall back to
or
that. Yeah.
yummy
Yeah.
or whatever that is. So but I think like the point of just like our conversation
Hmm.
is this idea of the fact that the body and the mind are intimately connected.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
connected is like such a funny word. They're like literally enmeshed,
Hmm.
like a
Yeah. Yeah, we know a
like
lot of
a
the chemicals and stuff going on in your body have real estate and drive what neurotransmitters are available in your brain. So it really is, they feed into each other. It's not one way. Yeah,
yeah. So to be
exactly.
connected to the body to understand those things
Hmm.
and what
Hmm.
it is that fills your tank, what it is that takes and how it
Hmm.
takes and balancing
Hmm.
that, and honoring that.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of my clients can't do full-time sustained work. They
Oh
can't,
yeah. Yeah.
they
It
can't
moves
put
too
out
much.
that amount of energy
Yeah.
20 hours
Yeah.
a week every week. Like, and then we
Yeah.
hit this burnout and then they don't go back to work. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I
Yeah.
see. So we have to be really careful about that. And there's no
Hmm.
judgment there. It's just the way the body works. Like
Hmm. Yeah, I
you
find
can't
people that are in that situation, being able to work, if they have a job they can work remotely, it works better, right? And especially if the remote work lets you do it at different hours, because people can do a couple hours and
Oh
then go
yeah.
for a run and then come
Yeah.
back and do a few more. And but that's really kind of like when you think about the work day and the work week, it's such a colonized, oppressed view anyway that isn't really normal with how our bodies work. I mean, look at different cultures where they take siestas or, they don't eat their dinner meal until 8 o'clock at night. And even then it's a smaller meal. And
Yeah.
they're doing more things that your body sort of does on its own. It would do if it were left to its own devices. So we start that cramming kids into that structure that's standardized for the sake of the system when they start school, right? And
Yeah.
instead of just listening to what that is. But yes, absolutely. That sense of how much do you have to give, stay focused. And if you're forced to stay focused, you can't ever fill the bucket up. You end up in burnout or meltdown or whatever else it is.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think like agitation and irritability is a very,
Mhm.
very good flag for
Yeah. Yeah.
people. If you
It
see
has
your
a
kids getting
purpose. Yeah.
agitated and
Yep.
irritable, if you're getting
Yeah.
agitated and irritable, you're responding to small things. That's
Yeah.
typically like your body's way of saying, like, take
Yeah.
stock. Like,
Yep.
just do an
Yep.
audit, like what's going on and see if you can't adjust those things,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, wow. I mean, in trauma, what is it? The body keeps score? What is
Yeah.
that?
Body
Is that
neurotypes. Yeah.
vessel? Is that
Is
ventricle?
that? Oh, I don't remember. And there was a book, wasn't there, called "The Body Keeps Score" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You can fact check us, you guys. Like, we have I'm
Yeah.
sure someone one of the listeners is one of our friends, like, they
Well,
know.
tell
They're like,
us.
"Oh, yeah, yeah, Gwen and Dana, it's this." But anyway.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
So yeah, like, maybe, we just encourage you to
Mhm,
take stock. Remember that, energy is not infinite.
mhm, yeah,
So,
I like that.
all right.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, we will catch you in the next episode. Be good to you and to others.
Bye.